Hello everybody, welcome to my first video as a real estate agent. It has been a interesting start to me getting in real estate. I am Ryan Matei. I'm with Castles Real Estate. I got started about 2 months ago. Just a few things to tell about myself. I'm 35 years old. I've been working in the hospitality industry for about, I'd say on and off since about 16, so I'd say almost 20 years. I decided to get into real estate, or I had been thinking about getting into real estate for quite a while, for quite a few years. I knew real estate was a good investment. It actually, one person that got me interested in it was my broker. As of right now, she is my landlord, and anyways, she would tell me like real estate is the best investment. I got into stocks maybe a couple years ago, and I got into it around 2020 when the market was just exploding. The Federal Reserve was pumping money into the market, so everything was just exploding. I imagine you've seen it. Right now we're in July 28th of 2022. If you keep up with the news today, I imagine you have heard about the GDP had negative growth for a second quarter, which technically defines a recession. So we are in different times than when I got into the so-called market or got into investing about 2 years ago. But anyways, I'm 35 years old. I am living in Clearwater, Florida. I was born in Richmond, Virginia. I lived in Richmond, Virginia for the majority of my life. However, I wasn't necessarily born and raised there. It's kind of a long story. Basically, when I was born there, then we moved about 7 or 8 times before we winded up back in Virginia when I was about 14, 15 years old. So I went through high school in Virginia, and when I was about 27 years old, I made a few mistakes when I was younger, and anyways needed to change my life around, and knew I just felt like I was kind of stuck in the same position, the same spot. So I finally packed all my things up, took the money that I had, maybe borrowed a little bit at the time, but I moved down to Florida. And it's been quite the experience. But I definitely think that me just kind of moving away from family, moving away from kind of my safe spot or just like my comfort zone, which was back home, definitely taught me a lot about life and just about myself and just what to do in certain situations. And it's been a blessing. It's been great. It's been quite the interesting adventure, I'd say, and the adventure continues. It continues every day. I greatly look forward to it, and that's what I can think of, or that's what I got as of this moment. So just to get a little bit into why I got into real estate, I was investing in the stock market back in 2020 when everything was just pumping through the roof. It was just crazy. I imagine you've seen, anybody that hasn't gotten investing has seen just how much the stock market grew between 2020 and I'd say the beginning of 2022 before the market started to take a big dump. And it looks like the market's kind of recovering now. It's kind of a weird situation with the market. Like I said, the Federal Reserve was kind of responsible. If you know about the stock market, was responsible for basically putting money into the market, so the market just grew unusually large, or just like had unusually good growth or large growth over the past 1.5, 2 years. So as of now, I imagine you've heard the Federal Reserve is raising rates. They actually raised rates yesterday, and then also the GDP report came out today, which showed that there was a negative growth in the economy, which technically defies a recession, of course, with the media and everything. We all know the media, how they can be is not necessarily admitting to it. In some parts, I think I've seen a couple things here and there. It's almost about noon, so a couple things here and there I'm seeing that are saying that, oh, this technically is a recession. Other places saying, oh, no, technically it's not. So, in my opinion, it's a recession. If you have 2 quarters that are negative growth, it's a recession. So, anyways, back to the real estate thing, or my real estate business. I got started about 2 months ago. It took quite a bit of time for me to actually get my license. I started in about October of 2021, and I got a good head start, but then just the hold up with the state, and then just explaining some of my background. I made some poor decisions when I was younger, and just kind of had to explain that to them. It took some time, so when I finally got approved, but then once I had the approval, it took forever from the process that I had to call the Florida Real Estate Commission multiple times to kind of, say, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you approved me, because you have to be approved before you can actually take your real estate exam. So I finally took my real estate exam in April, passed it. Don't know exactly what my score was, because they don't tell you your score. They just tell you if you passed or didn't pass. I think if you failed, they tell you your score, but I didn't fail. So I passed it first try. But I had extra time at the same time. I did try very hard. I did study very hard because I was very determined to get started in the real estate business. So anyways, after I passed my test, it took about a couple days. Then I was given my certificate to basically be licensed, and then you had to work under a broker before you're actually active. So it took a couple weeks after I passed my test and got my approval, or got my certificate, to actually become active. Shortly after that, unfortunately, I hit a little bit of a snag. I came down with a really bad sickness, and it really set me back. It really set me back hard. I'll say that I was probably coughing, just was coughing up phlegm, just had a rough time, was low energy for like almost, I'd say, 2 months. Started in the beginning of June, so maybe a couple weeks after I was active that this started, and it lingered on till roughly maybe a couple weeks or just a couple days ago. I actually went to the doctor once, gave me some antibiotics, kind of helped, but didn't really get rid of the problem. So then I had to go to the doctor again. And then they prescribed me a couple of things, an inhaler and some stuff to knock out the inflammation. So I'm feeling a lot better, which is the great news. So I'm very excited to get started with the business and get basically on the road, they would say. And I am determined to make this a career. Like I said, I've worked in the hospitality industry for let's say on and off since I was 16. Started off at 16 years old as like a busboy or in a dishwasher. I've pretty much worked in restaurants for the majority of my life. I've done a few other things. I've worked in a grocery store, which I guess is still kind of hospitality. I also did construction, did plumbing for a little while, not that long. But then I eventually got back into the hospitality business. Then when I moved down to Florida, I stayed in the hospitality business, and even though it's, it can be stressful at times, and it can definitely challenge challenge you in so many different ways you can never even imagine in other professions. It has taught me a lot about how to deal with certain situations and certain problems, and I just honestly say that it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing going through everything. And like I said, I was sick for the past 8 weeks. So now I'm finally feeling better, finally getting back to normal, finally getting back to where I want to be in order to actually get started. So I'm level-headed. I'm not dealing with coughing every 5 seconds. Because I tell you, it was bad. I was just coughing. My primary job, as of right now, everyone's asking me, like, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, Brian, you got to do something about this. And I've kind of been the person that doesn't really go to the doctor. I currently don't have health insurance, so that was also kind of a sting to my finances. But it is what it is. It wasn't that bad. I actually had health insurance for the longest time, then actually dropped it because I never actually, I dropped in 2020 because I was out of work, and they wanted all this money for me to keep to continue the health insurance. So I decided not to, because I literally never went to the doctor. I never had any problems. And then here we are, a year and a half later. I'm having multiple problems. Nothing too bad, but then this past time has really been troubling. It's just like with the sickness and just everything. It just really set me back. And I'm just grateful to be well again. And here I am starting out. I'm here down in Florida, and I know there's a lot of competition down here, and I know there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of things you're seeing in the media right now that says, oh my goodness, the real estate market's going to crash. Well, I'll tell you, it's not going to crash. It's going to be fine. If anything, the market was just kind of crazy, out of control, like just, people that were auctioning off houses. People were paying way above asking price the longest time because interest rates were so low. So now we're kind of getting back to a normal phase, and there's so many different indicators to say that this is not going to be like 2008. It's not. So for those of you that are out there that are saying that the real estate market's going to crash, or you're hoping that it's going to crash so you can buy cheap, I would not recommend that, because that is not what is going to happen. Of course, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but all the indicators I'm looking at, it's just not looking that way. 2008 was a very unique situation to how the economy crashed and how the housing market crashed. So I'd say all bets are off for the market actually crashing again like it did in 2008. So if you're thinking that's going to happen, please don't think that. There's lots of indicators out there that are saying that it's not going to crash. You got to remember, before 2008 there wasn't institutional buying like there was. There wasn't a low inventory like there was. So there are so many different indicators that are showing you right now that the market, it might be slowing down a little bit because it was just crazy out of control for a while, that it's just slowly coming back to a normal phase. I know people are like, the price of lumber is dropping, so that means that the real estate market's going to drop. Well, like I said, it's going to slow down a little bit. And, in reality, that's kind of how it works. Nothing is going to be super high, super wild. It's not going to go on for a long time with prices going way above, or people paying way above asking price. But I'll tell you what, the institutions buying, there's I think 25% of the housing market, or the houses that are purchased today, are purchased by large institutions. And I tell you, they have a little bit more knowledge than the average person. So I don't think they're going out and buying houses if they're expecting or thinking the market's going to crash. So please, just take into consideration that. There's a couple other factors that honestly I can't remember off the top of my head, but are definitely well worth looking at when it comes to considering if the market's going to crash. I don't think it's going to. I know I'm sounding like a broken record right now saying it's not going to, but I'm telling you, real estate is still a great investment to get into. Yes, mortgage rates are rising. So if you're considering financing, I would definitely consider financing now, because I think the Federal Reserve is going to continue to raise rates, which means mortgage rates are going to go up, or any kind of rate, any time of rate for borrowing money is going to go up. But it's still a good time to invest. Still think real estate is a great investment, and I can tell you it's a much better investment than getting into the stock market. Yeah, it's not necessarily considered a liquid asset, because real estate takes a little time to sell or buy, but you don't have to necessarily worry about the market crashing, and then you have the panic selling in the market, or the stock market, should I say. When I say the market, I'm talking about the stock market, just going up and down, erratic. That's kind of the reason why I got out of it, because I just knew that it just was too stressful and just kind of too over the top. And granted, say real estate can be crazy at times, but it's a little more controlled. It's a little easier to kind of gauge the market and understand it, and kind of see where things are going, versus the stock market, where bad news can come out, and the next thing you know, half the tech stocks have crashed or dropped 10%, and then you've lost a significant amount of money when you thought the market was going to keep on growing. So I don't want to take too long in this video, because it is my first video, but This is kind of a trial and error period, so forgive me if I didn't say things or didn't mention things that you would want to hear. But this is definitely my first time doing it, and I look forward to the adventure. I look forward to the challenges. I look forward to meeting lots of wonderful, great people. And even if people are not nice, if even people are rude, if even people don't like me, I look forward to the experience, because every experience you have there, or every experience that I have, is going to be a learning experience, and it's going to help me grow. So thank you again for listening. Thank you again for watching this video. I'm sorry I went a little over time. I kind of didn't even see how long I was going until I just looked up and realized, oh, I'm about 16 minutes in. So I don't want to lose your attention span, or I don't want to lose your attention. I know the average person doesn't have the highest attention span. I don't have a high attention span, so I'm going to kind of cut it right about now, so you can kind of get an idea that, I'm not going to go too overboard. I'm going to go on and on and on. So thanks again for listening. Again, I'm Brian Matei. I'm with Castles Real Estate. Yes, things might change. My name's not going to change, but my broker might change. But hopefully I will get to meet lots of great people in this business. I look forward to meeting you all. I welcome you to comment. I welcome you to contact me. And again, thank you for listening.